Howdy everyone, Stéphane here on the French Cooking Academy, and today we're going to be talking about the Croque Monsieur, aka the world famous ham and cheese toasted sandwich. This is what I've got, the bread. We're not going to be talking only about these sandwiches. I'm also going to give you 5 tips in order to make the perfect Croque Monsieur. Let's go. So, welcome back in my little office, and I've got my bread. This is what I wanted to talk about, the Croque Monsieur, or the famous ham and cheese or toasted ham and cheese sandwich that you all know. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the provenance of that sandwich, and you'll be surprised that yes, once again, this is a French invention. It was first created in the 1900s in a cafe somewhere in Paris. You know, someone, I guess some kind of waiter, some guy behind the bar decided to make a quick snack, and the Croque Monsieur was created. A simple slices of bread with ham and cheese and then toasted. So that's good to know, even though the ingredients used at the time were the Emmentaler cheese and the Parisian ham called the jambon de Paris. You have to know that this ham still exists. You can still find it in Paris. It's very famous. It's a classic, cooked ham, like a leg of ham, a pressed ham. I've read about it, and apparently the story is, why is it called the Parisian sandwich? We don't grow pigs in Paris. You know, it's a city. So what they do apparently, they get the legs of ham from Brittany. They are imported, and then the meat is actually processed in Paris, hence the name. There was some famous charcuterie, and they are the one that makes the ham and the pâtés and all these sort of things, but we'll talk about this in another video. It's another subject. But basically, when they received the ham, it was pressed, salted, and they will store it and then slice it and distribute it to all these nice hotels and restaurants back already in the 1900s. So that's always a good thing to know. Now, for the 5 tips I wanted to give you on how to make the perfect Croque Monsieur. The first thing we're going to say, or I'm going to tell you, is about the bread. And this is the first tip that I've learned in all of this book. There is actually a thickness we need to respect. 3/4 of an inch or 1.5 centimeter in thickness for each slice apparently makes for the perfect Croque Monsieur. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is also how your bread should be. And it's a white bread, but surprisingly, it says in the book, it should not be a fresh bread, which is strange. They say it's ideally not stale, but kind of halfway. So your bread is kind of a bit stiffer. So when you're gonna spread your butter, because of course there's butter, it's gonna be much easier to do than when you have a very soft one like me. You know, it's a bit soft, but we'll see that in a practical demonstration on Friday. Don't worry. That's for the tip number 2. For the tip number 3, in terms of the ingredients, very important. You may have seen on a lot of videos that there is bechamel sauce in a lot of Croque Monsieur. And I'm sorry to say that the bechamel is a new modern addition, and the original recipe does not contain bechamel sauce. A Croque Monsieur is 1 slice of bread with butter, cheese, ham, cheese, and another piece of bread with butter as well. That's it. There's nothing else in there. That's the tip number 3. Tip number 4 is actually, how do you cook a Croque Monsieur? And this is also something that varies from videos to videos. Do you cook it in a toaster oven or in an oven? Who knows? Well, actually, I was surprised to see that, but the real way to cook a Croque Monsieur is in a frying pan. Yes, a frying pan with butter. So we don't use an oven, we don't use a toaster oven, we use a frying pan. But it's going to be interesting to see that in the demonstration. And now for the last tip, number 5, is the cooking time of the Croque Monsieur. There is also a perfect timing to cook these things, and that is 4 minutes on either side. I've tested and it works. And I'll show you this on Friday. So you've got your slices that are thick, you've got all the ingredients, you put this in a frying pan, and then you get the perfect Croque Monsieur, nicely toasted, nicely crunchy. Now before I go, I'd like to finish to tell you that actually there is 2 styles of Croque Monsieur that existed back in the days. There was like the economical version for the people at home. And there was another one that was called more like the standard version of the more, the more classy version that was actually served in this restaurant that we will discover together on Friday. But that's it for now. Join me back on Friday for the technical demonstration on making this simple but delicious French Croque Monsieur. I'll see you then.